Well, hey there, welcome back to Return to Yehovah. Today I want to talk about something, a phrase I'll quote here. The day or the hour knows no man. And if you've heard that before, you know it's quoted in the Bible. It's from Yeshua, Jesus, where he said that related to his second coming, when he returns in glory and all that, it talks about how the day or the hour when he comes, no man knows. Not the angels and not he himself, but only the Father knows that. Now, it's, at least from what I looked at in a quick search, it's in Matthew 25 and Mark chapter 13. In each of the times it's quoted, Yeshua was again talking about his second coming, but in Matthew he's talking about the parable of the 10 virgins, or the bridegroom coming and taking his bride and all that. And I don't want to go into details. I want you to be able to read those yourself and just let the word, speak to you and see what it says. In Mark chapter 13, he's talking about the parable of the fig tree. And there's a lot of interesting stuff he says in the verses prior to the part where he says, but no man knows the day or the hour when the Son of Man is coming. Basically, that's not an exact quote, but you've all heard that probably. Excuse me. So I was in a Bible study with a group of friends today, and somehow this was part of the discussion. We didn't plan on talking about that, but it kind of came up. And we had been discussing looking for the new moon in the sky as part of God's calendar, and how it was observed, or basically a statute, or it was more than a tradition. It was something God told them to do, to keep an eye out for, to watch for the new moon each month, because once that new moon is sighted, and it's the first sliver of the moon after it had been dark and not seen in the sky for 2 or 3 days, you see that first sliver around sundown on a given night, around the time of the end of the prior month. And when you see that in Israel, that marks the first day of the new month, whatever it may be. Now, we're not ready for that in the next few days or whatever. We just had a full moon just a couple days ago, so it'll be another couple of weeks before we're looking for a new moon again. Today, right now, is May 29th of 2021. But, so we were on the topic of the new moon, and then somebody brought up about the idea of the Feast of Trumpets, or the Day of Shouting, or Day of Blowing, which is the first day of the 7th month on God's calendar. And it's in that month that you also have the Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement, and the 8 days, or basically 7 days, of the Feast of Tabernacles. And then the 8th day is a special day afterwards. It's also called Sukkot, the whole feast there. But anyhow, so a lot happens in the 7th month of the year. But God told his people all along to look for the new moon to begin each month. And prior to today, I had always thought that the phrase, no man knows the day or the hour, was directed at the first day of the 7th month, mainly because a lot of people expect that Jesus, or Yeshua, will come back on the Feast of Trumpets. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, everybody's got an opinion, and I don't know when he's coming, but it's a cool thought. Imagine him coming in glory, and you hear all this, trumpets, blasting, and whether it's a shofar or a regular metal trumpet or what, and the armies of heaven coming to earth and all that. And the people of God that see him coming are going to be shouting, so it's a day of shouting and a day of blowing of the trumpets or whatever. But as we were discussing this, and of course it's very cool to imagine it might be a Feast of Trumpets when he comes, but then I was sharing with the people in the group that now I go out virtually every month, or try to every single month, to go look for the new moon. Now, quite honestly, where I live in the Pacific Northwest of America, there's a lot of times where we have, steady rain and dark clouds, and there's just no way you're going to see the new moon when that's happening. So there's sometimes I look out and I think I'll go look for the moon, and I just realize it's just not going to happen. And I've lived here for several years and been sighting or looking for the moon for, at least 7 or 8. Yeah, probably about 7 or 8 years, maybe more than that. I've lost track exactly when I started. Might even be 10 years by now. But, when you do it, several years in a row, month after month, you get a feel for when you're going to be able to see it and when you're not. But each time that I've gone out, and actually it's clear enough or not too cloudy, I'm able to look for it. And like I explained to the group, there's some nights where I don't see the moon, and I'm looking and looking, and I know to always look in the western sky around the time of sundown. And it's best when the sun has already gone down over the horizon, so I can't see it. Otherwise it's too bright and you never see the moon. But the way I described it is, there's been several times where I'm looking for it, and after maybe 45 minutes or an hour, I think, well, maybe I'm not supposed to see it tonight. Or, because clouds sometimes, literally, a medium-sized patch of cloud will just come and will be just right in front of that moon, and I don't get to see it. But what I found, and I'll pray, God, if it's there, can you let me see it? That kind of thing. And sometimes just when I'm ready to give up and go back home or whatever, I look one more time, and by then that patch of clouds has moved just enough, and then I can see maybe half of the crescent or maybe a little bit more, and then in no time at all, once I can see part of it, I'm like, there it is, and I look, and then you can see the whole thing. And once you've seen it, then you could look away for a minute or two, and you look back, about where it is anyhow, and then you can look back and you see it instantly. I've said in plenty of videos that I need to get a better camera, but I still haven't. Kind of a cheapskate, but if I had a really good camera, I could take pictures every month, and but the point is, they didn't have cameras in biblical days, and so you have to be able to see it with your eyes, and that's the only way I ever look for it, is to see if I can see it with my eyes. And if I ever take my phone out, it's to get a picture of it to show somebody else, But so the thing I was getting at was, okay, it's one thing to consider the day or the hour that no man knows to be on the Feast of Trumpets. So that's at the end of the 6th month, and looking for the moon to mark the first day of the 7th month, and with all the reasons why we think that's a possible time when Yeshua might come, it dawned on me today that every single month when I'm out looking for the new moon, now I don't know exactly when I'm going to be able to see the moon. Okay, so, and keep in mind, I'm not in Jerusalem, so my seeing the moon is not the official thing that starts God's calendar and all that. I believe the Bible intended that it would be people in Israel that would see it, and then they would mark, whatever day is the first day of whatever month you're in, okay? But still, until we get to go live over there and spend the rest of our days in Israel, as long as I'm here, I'm going to look for the moon. And it's good practice. It's just a way for me of living out a little bit of what they did in Bible times, And So anyhow, it's a fun thing, and I really enjoy doing it, and it's a way of keeping the commandment, and I blow the shofar when I have seen it. And that's another story, but there's a psalm, I want to say it's Psalm 81:3 and 4, that talk about blowing the shofar. Sorry, I didn't have the scripture right in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that's the one. Psalm 81:3 and 4. But I think I got away from the point again, was not only on the 7th month, but literally each and every month, if you are out, or if I am out looking for that new moon, and what if one of those in an odd month, maybe in the 3rd month, maybe in the 9th month, who knows, what if while we're looking for the moon and trying to sight it, to start, the next month on God's calendar or whatever, we still don't know the day or the hour when that new moon is going to appear. And it just made me think, wow, who's to say Yeshua might not come on the first day of one of these other months? Now, don't go run with it and say, oh my gosh, he's going to come back on the first day of, whatever. I don't know. And you don't know. It was just an interesting thought. I don't know if it made sense to any of you guys, but just something I want to share. Either way, I think it's, because when the new moon is sighted, I don't know if I said it today, but I mentioned it to the group that I was talking with. When a month is coming to an end, the moon goes completely dark. You cannot see it in the sky. And they say it could be 2 or 3 days where the moon is not visible. And so we don't know, are we going to be able to see the crescent after 2 days? Or are we going to have to wait till the 3rd day and see God in his ways or whatever? He decides when it's going to be seen. But I've also learned over the years that a Hebrew month on God's calendar is never going to be more than 29 or 30 days at the most. Like, they don't have 28-day months, and they don't have 31-day months or 32 or anything else. It's always 29 or 30. So in a way, if you've seen the new moon one month, you can count 29 days and then 30 days. And if you haven't seen the moon by 30 days, then, automatically that 30th day is the last day of the month. And you have, this is what the people that do this officially in Israel and all, then they just declare, the next day is the new moon. And really the only reason they wouldn't see it after the 30 days is because of, cloud cover or something that blocks it from their view. But apparently that's the way it's okay to do, and I don't pretend to know any better. And somebody in the group we were with today, she lives down in a desert area quite a few months out of the year, and she was saying when they go out and look for the moon, man, I mean, just big, beautiful, easy to see because their skies are clear and lots of stars or whatever. But I just think that's amazing because where I am, it's a lot of clouds and rain and all, so it's a tricky thing every month, But so literally each month, people that are looking for the new moon, they never know the day or the hour. Will it be visible on the 29th day? Or will this month be the 30th day? And they can guess roughly, a time frame close to whenever sunset is, but you can't say that, on a certain date at this set time, the new moon will be visible. It doesn't work that way. So I hope that makes sense, but no one knows the day nor the hour when the new moon will be visible or seen by someone. And it's just interesting that that's also how it will be in the coming of the Son of Man, And I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting, so I'll let you guys chew on that and see what you think. All right, I guess that's it for now, but Yehovah bless you and keep you. Shalom.